Good afternoon. Welcome to Meldon Law and Friends, our local podcast here in Gainesville, Florida. We're at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Great food, museum-like atmosphere. If you haven't been to Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, I highly recommend you showing up here and checking out the food. They are open, I think, every day of the week now, and they always have great drinks, great food. Sometimes they'll bring out some specials. They had a prime rib special last week. They do oysters sometimes, and you're always there's always an opportunity to see a celebrity here, whether it's a Gator or someone else that is coming through Gainesville. This is the spot to be. As you can see behind me, all of Spurrier's helmets are hanging on the wall, and we're really lucky to be able to broadcast in this incredible place. Now, before we get into our guest today, we're going to go through some of our announcements, upcoming giveaways, events for Meldon Law. At Meldon Law, we help everyone in North Central Florida community that has been injured as a result of a serious accident. Consultations are always free, and you can come into our office and meet with us in person. Yes, free of charge. Give us a call at 352-373-8000. Say, I want a free consultation with Carrie Meldon. I'll meet you with you in my office, and we'll talk about your case and whether or not we can help you out. We are local. We have offices in Gainesville, Williston, Ocala, Lake City, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and the Villages. So we're all over North Central Florida. The Villages we're actually opening soon, but we do have representation down there. So if you have a case down there, give us a call. Now let's get into some of the upcoming events. This weekend, a huge event here in Gainesville, Florida. The Texas Longhorns are coming in from Austin, Texas to play the Gators this Saturday, October 4th at 3:30 p.m. at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. We will be doing Fan Fest at this particular game. If you haven't been to the Meldon Law Fan Fest, we give away free stuff the entire pregame. About 4 hours before the event, we have a tent set up. We have our wheel of gifts, and you spin the wheel. It lands on a card, and you get whatever gift is associated with that card. We have really good gifts. Not only that, we're doing a great giveaway for the Gator Florida versus Georgia VIP getaway. That you can enter in either on our Instagram or you can enter in when you go to our Fan Fest. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the program. So the other thing that we're looking at doing in the upcoming future is the Gators Give, which is benefiting the Ronald McDonald House here in North Central Florida. That is occurring at the First Magnitude Brewery Saturday, October 11th from 2 to 3:30 p.m. Join UF Campaign for Charities Saturday, October 11th, 2025 from 2 to 3:30 p.m. at the First Magnitude Brewing Company near Depot Park in downtown Gainesville. You can enjoy live music from Trevor Ellis. There's going to be raffles and kids' activities if you want to bring the family. If you bring a canned good for a family at the Ronald McDonald House, you can get a drink discount. I guess if you bring 5 cans, you get a drink discount. Support the Ronald McDonald House Charities of North Central Florida and the Hitchcock Field and Fork Pantry. There's also going to be October 22nd for our South Florida viewers from 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Casino Center, which is the Heat Arena in Miami. We're going to be doing the Gather with the Gators, presented by Meldon Law. We are flying down head coach Todd Golden of the National Championship Florida Gators, along with star players Tommy Haw, Micah Handglotton, Boogie Fland, and Cooper Josephsberg to enjoy an upscale evening with food and drinks on Wednesday, October 22nd. You can participate in an interactive Q&A with Coach Golden and the team and get a close-up look at the 2025 National Championship Trophy. There's 3 different entry levels that you can get tickets to, and you can go to our website or our Instagram page to get more information. The one is the Ultra VIP experience, which is going to be a one-on-one with Coach Todd Golden. That starts at 5:30. Then there's the VIP reception, which has a ton of great gifts. You get a part of the floor. You get a replica ring. You get a signed basketball, and that's from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And then there's general admission, which is a lot less. I think it's $50, where you can see the coach, see the players, listen to them, and that's from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., all occurring at the Miami Heat Arena. So the attire is smart casual. It's on Wednesday, October 22nd in Miami from 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Finally, we were talking about the Texas game, how we're doing our Fan Fest event at the Texas game this weekend. We can actually you don't have to be at that event to enter into the Florida-Georgia VIP getaway. You can actually do it on our Instagram or Facebook pages. And this is what the Florida versus Georgia VIP getaway entails. You get a 2-night stay at Marriott Jacksonville downtown, dinner for 2 at the Cowford Chop House, and a football signed by Coach Billy Napier on November 1st, that weekend. Plus, we're going to give you 2 tickets to see the Florida-Georgia game. This all occurs in Jacksonville, so you'll have your hotel, you'll have a steak dinner, you're going to have a football signed by Coach Napier, and then on Saturday you're going to have 2 tickets for the football game. So you get down there Friday, you stay Friday night on us, you have your steak dinner on Friday night, Saturday you wake up, you go to the game, and then Saturday night you get to go stay at the same hotel, which is right there, Jacksonville downtown, walking distance to the stadium, and you can enter into the Florida v. Georgia VIP getaway on the Meldon Law Facebook or Instagram pages. The winner will be announced on October 13th. So it's coming up. Good luck, and go Gators. So we're done with this week's announcement. Without further ado, we're bringing in our guest, Marc Johnson, co-owner of Johnson Brothers Plumbing. We're really excited to have Marc here, and after the first commercial, when we get back, Marc will be ready to talk about his experiences and what he does for the North Central Florida community.
Jeffrey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm joining the band, of course. Since Meldon Law is the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, I want to help.
Dad, we're litigators. Let's stick to helping people in the courtroom.
Well, can we still hang out and jam a little bit? At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
I was going down a one-way street and a girl that was driving her car T-boned me on my scooter. I ended up going for an MRI and discovering that I had 2 herniated discs. Coming to Cary allowed me to not have to worry about what doctor I was going to see or what physical therapist I had to go to. They say, these are the people we trust. You're going to have a great experience there. And I honestly did each time.
Call Meldon Law. Your consultation is absolutely free.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran a red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon, because you're going to need help, and they will help you.
Call Meldon Law right now.
Hey, Sammy, look who's there. Say hi.
Hey!
You again!
Meldon Law, Jeffrey speaking.
Jeffrey!
Somebody else!
Hit us!
Here we go again.
Okay, we are back here at Meldon Law and Friends. We have a great guest today, Marc Johnson from Marion County. Marc, welcome to the program.
Thank you for the opportunity.
I appreciate you coming on, and we were talking a little bit about what you do and the areas that you service before the show started today. But before we get into that, why don't you tell the viewers a little bit about your business and what you do?
Okay. Well, we do service plumbing. Our business opened in 2006, so coming up on almost 20 years. So we don't do any new construction, but we do some remodel work, additions. Somebody wants to add a bathroom group. But primarily we're repairing and maintaining systems and changing them out as they needed.
And your company, Johnson Brothers, you're the co-owner of, and you say we, I'm assuming it's you and your brother.
Correct.
Okay.
My brother Aaron and myself.
And how long have you and your brother been in business for?
Coming up on 20 years. We started in 2006.
And how did you get the idea to start this business?
So it originated with a third brother, Matt Johnson, and he got the license first, and we decided the three of us would go into partnership, and at some point a little bit later down the road, he wanted to get into cabinetry and some other things, so he stepped into that, and my brother and Aaron and I just continued with the business.
So the journey's been 20 years, almost 20 years now.
Yes.
Okay, and how have you seen things change in Marion County since you started?
Well, obviously the growth.
Yeah.
There's a huge increase in growth in our area as well as the surrounding areas. I think one of the challenges as a company owner is when prices escalate, and we've seen that inflation. We've seen, probably since COVID, things exponentially becoming more expensive, and so it's challenging as a business owner because you want to keep your prices as low as you can for your client, but you also understand to keep your doors open, you've got to increase things, but yeah, that's probably one of the most significant changes, since we've started.
Where's your main office located?
So we're on the southeast side of Ocala. We're located kind of close to the Forest High School off Mare Camp Road. And we service, all the way into the beginning portion of the villages, which keeps growing, all the way up to, I would say we cover up to Gainesville, not typically in Gainesville much, but we will, if it's a sizable job, take on some jobs in Gainesville, and then of course all of Marion County, and as far west as Denellen.
And because you've seen the growth, I'm assuming that you guys have been pretty busy, especially in Marion County the last few years.
Yeah, as with anything, you've got ebbs and flow, but for the most part, we have been able to steadily grow, and we thank the Lord for that. We try to put Him first in our business and in our business practices, and I attribute any of that to His blessing.
So as a faith-based business working with your family, obviously I would assume that you guys are God, family, and then customer. Are those, would that be fair in terms of the priorities?
Absolutely. That's been our heart from the beginning. Yes, plumbing is a way to make a living, but we know in the end we're not taking anything with us. We came into the world with nothing. We're leaving the same way. So it's about people. It's about relationships and meeting needs, and of course being able to be a profitable company to do so.
Well, I know that you're also very, very involved in the community. In fact, we were talking about before the podcast, we met at the fundraiser for the Boys Club. And so, community involvement seems to be a priority for your business and for yourself personally.
It's definitely a pleasure to be able to be a part in those things and support the ones that you're able to. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, in terms of, your hobbies and your passion, I'm looking down here. I know that obviously your religion, you're passionate about your family and your religion. Is there any other hobbies that you like to partake in, and other than work and networking and things like that?
I don't have too many. There's areas of interest, but I do seem to stay pretty consumed with everything else.
I'm sure. I'm the same way. If you asked me that question, it'd be a tough one.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm passionate about the gospel.
Yeah.
So, kind of going back to faith, the things that God has done in my life, I want others to experience. So, I have the privilege of being a part of a ministry that goes to the prisons. So I have a class that I participate in on a weekly basis.
That's amazing.
And I also enjoy going to the homeless shelter.
Yeah.
And have a Bible study there. So those are the outlets that really, to me, I find fulfilling.
And do you feel like the service in your personal and your faith helps is extended to your customers too, in your commercial business?
That's our goal.
Yeah.
We're very selective on who we bring on. For us, anybody that's a part of our team is representing our name.
Absolutely.
And of course, my brother and I are both Christians, so we look at that as an extension of who we represent, which would be Christ. So
right.
We vet our guys pretty good, and sometimes you get a guy that you just feel is going to be great, and then you don't see the moral character that you're looking for, and you have to let them go. But
I think that happens in every industry. So you got to give people the benefit of the doubt until they prove you wrong.
Right.
So I want to talk a little bit about the services that Brothers Johnson's provides, because I know plumbing has changed quite a bit. I bought a house in Daytona. I was a prosecutor out there for a few years, and I bought an old house. And one of the issues that it had this old, I think it was it copper plumbing or brass plumbing? Had old metal plumbing, right?
Right.
And there was a whole bunch of oak trees, like water oaks, that were built over it. And over time, there had been it needed to be replaced. And it was a huge deal to get the old original plumbing replaced by PVC. And I realized it's a whole, or like you have to not only pulling the permits, but you have to make sure you're cutting underground lines, and it can be a huge undertaking. I mean, I'm assuming that's something that you guys are able to do in circumstances where there are these old, Ocala houses or villages, and you need to replace them. Yeah.
Yeah. You're probably facing head-faced galvanized plumbing, which in the older districts was common.
Okay.
And it does deteriorate. And a lot of folks have had, insurance companies force them to do those upgrades. The other one is copper tubing. So it's commonly used in new construction. It's phasing out. CPVC is also been more prevalent of late, and then also Uponor.
What's that?
It's a PEX product, so it's polyethylene cross-linked. It's a type of plastic. It's very resilient to expansion, contraction, and it's the product of choice for anybody that has to do a repipe of their home.
Has a long lifespan?
Yeah, some of the manufacturers give a 25-year warranty on it. Some of them have some stipulations that obviously you want to read through, the fine print and make sure that what you're getting is what you think you're getting. So, but I will say the copper tubing is becoming a bigger issue now. It's failing in as little as 20 years. So,
wow. It's almost like a roof.
Yeah, it's a thin wall material. So you've got calcium, magnesium, iron, all those things that are in your water, and so they react to the copper. The ground being buried in the ground, it reacts to the copper, and then you've also got lightning strikes sometimes cause issues with it. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but a lot of folks, have to deal with that repiping their home experience.
Do you do mostly situations where there's existing piping that you're going to have to come in and either fix or replace, or do you deal with new construction, or a little bit of both?
So we don't really do the new construction side of things unless it's, again, customers wanting an addition and they just, are adding a bathroom group. We'll tackle those. Our trucks aren't really set up for new construction. The majority of our guys have the experience in service, so that's more of our niche.
Problem solving.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It's hard because you're dealing with other people's, not mistakes necessarily, but the issues, and having to probably figure out creative ways to solve them.
Sure. And for us, what we don't want is, somebody to go in and be a salesman. So the way we train our staff is, you're going to figure out what the issue is. So you kind of educate yourself with the homeowner on what the problem is that they're experiencing, how long do they experience it, how long have they been in the home, those kind of things. Get a feel for that, and then they're going to offer some solutions. Whether it's, hey, I can address the symptom, which is going to be the least expensive, or I can also address the problem so that you're not dealing with the symptom. And then if there's options for maintenance to avoid the problem, address those. So we try to give options, and again, kind of goes back to our moral standard, and that is we want you to treat the homeowner the way you would want to be treated if you
Absolutely.
were the homeowner. So
Yeah.
it's about educating the homeowner, giving them options, and then letting them decide what's important to them and what is the best fit for them.
It's almost like a doctor mentality. You give if someone has, God forbid, they get diagnosed with cancer, they may want to go through radiations, they may want to, have a surgery to cut it out, and it's their job to give, advice as to the different options. Obviously, it's a different scale, but you're still, what you're doing is you're informing the individual as to what their options are, and then letting them choose what route they are able to take.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. Which is a lot of, it's expensive. A lot of these costs, I feel it's tough because a lot of what you're dealing with are unforeseen costs because they're hidden. You don't see what's underneath the ground, obviously.
Right.
So right now, like in terms of clients out there, potential clients out there, what are some of the warning signs that may exist where they should be at least giving you a call to come check to see if everything is kosher?
Well, I think understanding, the condition of things. So home inspections are a great idea.
Okay.
So, if you buy a home, sometimes you get the option of not hiring that home inspector, prior to. You're thinking, oh, no, it looks good. And then you get in the home and you got termites and you got, other things going on. So I think having a good home inspection, obviously if you're already in a home existing, we can provide a home inspection for the plumbing system, and it goes a little bit beyond that, but plumbing is our expertise. So I think just understanding, what life expectancies are on different appliances, such as water heaters, those kind of things. That's I think that prevention, the old saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Absolutely. It's one of my favorites.
So, I think that's a good way to be proactive.
So, in terms of sounds or maybe a color of the water, like when you start to see certain things, at what point are those kind of warning signs?
Yeah. So here's a good example. You take a toilet, it flushes well enough. You don't think you have anything going on until the toilet starts running. And if our guys come out there, they may say, "Oh, okay, it looks like your initial problem is the toilet flapper."
Sure.
So, we can just address that. But, I see all this mineral deposit buildup on the fill valve. So that could begin to stick, and then the toilet's running again, and, and then you're having a plumber back out. So it may make sense to say, hey, while we're doing this, let's take care of that.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing. The hard water is shortening the life of those components. So we can put brand new components in, but you're also going to be faced with, not getting the full life expectancy. So we try to kind of educate the homeowner on some of the cause for why the shortened life expectancy. So some symptoms, if you're hearing your water heater making a lot of racket, and it's a gas water heater.
Yeah.
One of the things that you can be attentive to is that that's because you're heating up a lot of the scale that's collected from the hard water if you don't have a softener. So hearing that sound, that's giving you kind of some symptoms that say, hey, probably make sure you're budgeting for replacing that soon. Flushing it, if it's not very old, is what we recommend. A yearly flush. And that's something a homeowner can do on their own if they're comfortable, they understand the processes, or it's something that we can do as a service. But if it's over 10 years old and they've not been servicing it, and they're hearing a lot of crackling sound after it's been depleted, it's because you've got that heating taking place, and you've got so. Basically, you're having to heat all of the buildup before it's heating the water, but you're hearing the expanding gases, as that temperature's changing. So, that's definitely something to, I would say is an awareness that you could have. I mean, usually with plumbing, unless you're seeing the drip, or something you're not going to be as aware. Obviously, mineral deposit buildup around valve stems, things like that. Old gate valves, you can start seeing where the brass or the copper, is turning green. Those are some symptoms of some corrosion. So,
just be aware.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. I mean, I would assume you get calls all the time. I mean, you can never predict when someone's plumbing is going to go on the fritz. What are some of the hours and availability? Like, what should a customer generally expect if they have an issue that needs to be resolved?
So we definitely try to be available 24/7. It's tough, when
I can't imagine.
When you've got a guy that maybe finishes his last call because he's on call and it's 11 o'clock, and the phone rings again at 3 a.m. Sometimes it's hard to get somebody out there. We do have an on-call service that will be awake and answer the lines, and sometimes they can be of some assistance until we can get to them. But we definitely do our best to be available.
That's awesome. That's great. So people out there, if they're listening, if you have an issue, you don't have to wait till the next morning if it's something that's substantial, because you may be able to get someone out immediately.
Yeah, and sometimes we can walk them through some things like getting the water turned off, that kind of thing, to kind of lessen the emergency,
mitigate the damages.
Sure, absolutely.
So we've got about a minute and a half left, Marc. This has been a great show. Why don't we tell the listeners out there how they can contact you? Tell them, Brothers Johnson, where how they should reach out to you if they need help with their existing plumbing.
Okay. So you can definitely find us online, or we're also in the phone books. I know it's not as,
Those still
common
exist.
anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, Johnson Brothers Plumbing. You can go to our website at johnsonbrothersplumbing.com. So if you need to schedule something, maybe it is after hours, you can go online and schedule an appointment.
Is it brothersjohnsonsplumbing.com?
Johnson Brothers.
Johnson Brothers. Why do I keep saying Brothers Johnson? I think
It's okay.
I think that might be an old hymn from some old story that I read one day. But look, we had a great show today. Marc, it sounds like you've got a great business. I wish you the best of luck in the near future. If I ever need your help, I'll give you a call. Okay.
Awesome.
Thank
you.
That's my promise to you. Is
appreciate
whether you guys can make it up to Gainesville, you'll let me know. But I really appreciate you coming on. Anyone out there, Marc Johnson, Johnson Brothers Plumbing. They serve North Central Florida, and it's a business that's focused on family, faith, and great customer service. So what else could you ask for?
Well, thank you again for the opportunity.
All right. Appreciate it. Have a good day.
Thanks.
Look at that.